because I'm at home and I've been traveling so much that I haven't been able to select giveaway winners for the tools for. Actually, I've been so busy that I didn't even really say what the next giveaway was going to be. So I'm just going to go with it. It's going to be both, both of the tools are torque wrenches. One is a smaller one, and I think it's like 10 to 80 pounds, and the other one's like 80 to 120. But I'll just do that later on in the live stream once more people get in here. I'll do it like I did the previous one. Everything's ran kind of through Patreon because it's not like it's a huge giveaway. And we'll just kind of go from there. I'm sure people were wondering what was going on because, I went to Florida, then I went to Alabama, and now I'm going to Tucson tomorrow for a week to help Sarah. So if you're if you're around Tucson, might be able to meet up and maybe check out some people's cars or whatnot. But yeah, we'll figure out this whole giveaway thing in a little bit. Oh, what's up with this? There we go. What's going on? So yeah, I've been working on I haven't done too much because I've been waiting on parts, but I have been working on the charger. I finally got some material to finally finish making up the final brake lines. And I'm going to do that once I get back from Tucson at the end of next week. So I'll be back Saturday, which should be enough time. It's going to be 3. I need to finalize one brake line in the front going from the master cylinder to the ABS pump. And then the other 2 super long ones, I'll probably have to probably have Sean come over and help me hold the line because it just kind of gets super, I don't know, it's kind of hard to just deal with a super long line and make sure that you don't bend it. You need like an extra person to hold that extra length. So because it just wants to like flop around. So I'll get those brake lines done. Then I could get all that busted out. I've been also working on the other Magnum. I'm going to be making a video of like a step-by-step of how and what you need to do to swap a Scat Pack or a Hellcat swap into like an older Charger, Challenger, 300 or Magnum, just because so many people message me every day on how to do it. So the first video will be out when I get back because I had to order something. I had to order a few parts to do it, but I'll have that video out and it'll be how everything that you need to modify on the body to get the swap to directly bolt in, because there's quite a few things that you have to do. And I don't think very many people realize what you have to do. And my first series of the Magnum swapping on the Scat Pack stuff, it was pretty difficult for people to follow because it wasn't really a how-to video. It was just me swapping it in. And I've had a lot of people and I've answered a lot of questions on how to do the swap over and over and over again. So I think this will be really nice because it'll just be like a series, and it'll probably only be 10 episodes in the series, and they'll be really dedicated, like everything you have to modify on the chassis. And then we'll go into like swapping the engine in. Then we'll do maybe wiring before swapping the engine in, then swapping all the drivetrain in, what you need to do there. The wiring will be its own video. I might maybe break the wiring up in a few different videos because there is, installing the wiring harnesses, the main body harnesses is pretty simple, but then if you have a Magnum, wiring up the hatch with all the modules, where you want to put those modules at, and the list goes on and on. So I might break those up like hatch wiring, door wiring, because there's quite a few different things that you have to do per each thing. So let's see what's going on here. Hell yeah, are you gonna film a lot with Sarah? Yeah, so I'm going down to Tucson to help Sarah with the body work on her Toyota. Should be pretty simple because she's already busted out a bunch of stuff. It should be epoxy primed already or very close by the time I get there. And it'll just be really just probably a few skims here and there and some blocking out just to get the car straight. I'm not going to paint it. She's going to handle all that, but I'm just going down there to help her with the body work. I think it'll be a lot easier to bust it all out with, a few people that know what they're doing. So let's see. Y'all just need to go ahead and move somewhere together and make a new channel. All doing builds together. I mean, her and Charlie do a bunch of stuff, so it would be nice to be closer to other YouTubers. And YouTubers that I actually do stuff with, because it just is nice to, if you need a hand or something here and there, it just really helps out. So let's see. Good evening from Lakeland, Florida. What's going on? Man, it must be pretty late because I don't have very many people on this live stream yet. What is going on here? Let's see. Actually, I'm probably going to bring this little, it's been in my closet for a while, the little stand for my phone, so I could actually use it at the shop when I'm there. I might have to utilize this because I actually like it. I don't have to hold the phone. I could just kind of chill. It's really nice. Let's see. I wish more people were on here so I could do the giveaway part. What's up, my friend? Not much. Just waiting for some more people to get in here. Usually there's around like 50-ish. So, and I don't know if any of those people that entered into the Patreon giveaways is on here yet. So, it doesn't really matter if they are or not, but we'll just run it like we did last time. Let's see. Do a cartwheel. I don't know about that. I'm a little bit too tall for that. I'm located in North Memphis. Memphis. I haven't been to Memphis in probably, I'd say, 5-ish years. Texas here. I haven't been to Texas in a while either. It's been a minute. Let's see. Should just start playing some Grand Theft Auto while I wait. I love it. What do you think of Tavares buying the flooded McLaren P1? I think it was a good move because that McLaren already had so much exposure on the internet as it was, and he had the funds to buy it, so it just made sense. Like, if you could buy something that's already a viral thing on the internet, and then you could turn it into like a project, you already know that's going to go viral. And plus, if you already have a channel established like Tavares does, it just is, it's just so easy to just do things like that, which is awesome, because eventually, the car will be fixed. The only issue is, like, I'm sure it has a salvage title, because it did, it was in salt water, but I'm sure it'll run and drive, just like new. And I think there was a guy that did that with an LFA. I think it was an LFA. He bought it from the auction, salvage title. The insurance company, they didn't have a way to assess the car, so then they valued the car with a salvage title for, like, I think it was like $200 and something thousand, like $250,000, maybe more than that. I can't remember the exact numbers. And then the car was sitting in a shop or something, and it got flooded again, and they paid him out, and he made like $150,000 in like 6 months or something. It was something crazy. It's something like that. I don't know the exact figures, but it's gonna be the same thing with that McLaren, because there's not very many of them. They're really rare. Even with a salvage title, I mean, it's still, it's Tavares. A lot of people follow him. It's still going to be a very valuable car. So it's not like he bought a salvage title car, he's putting a bunch of money into a salvage title car, and he's going to lose all that money. It's going to be a very valuable car, and it's going to be done right. I mean, I met the guy that does all his body work and stuff when we're at SEMA. Me and Tavares were just shooting the shed, and he seems like a very knowledgeable guy. So I don't think there's going to be any issues with getting a bird almost flew in the window. Getting it done. Just like getting the smell out of cars though when they've been flooded, or like when they've had mice in them. that's gonna be the trick. So hopefully, I think they're like a monocoque or something like that. So I think it's all carbon fiber. So I think if they get all of the, everything stripped out of it and all brand new carpets and stuff like that, I don't think there'll be an issue with it. So I think it'll be a cool car. Let's see. Give us an update on your projects. Most of my projects have really been put on the back burner just because of the charger project, like the FD. I want to drive the FD again. The FC as well. When I get back, I need to make brake lines for the FC, put the new booster, put the new master in it, because the old master failed. It leaked all the brake fluid out of it, and it's just been sitting for like 2 months, and I haven't been able to drive it, which I like driving that car at least 1 or 2 times a week because it's really fun. It's reliable. I don't have to worry about it. It doesn't get the worst gas mileage. So, and now, now it's going to get into summer and it's going to start getting warmer, which it doesn't have AC. So like right now is the perfect time to drive the FC. I do want to put AC back in it, and I also want to have AC in the FD, but they're really just kind of been put on the back burner. I need to do some stuff to my dad's car. I got a bunch of parts from QA1 I need to install on that. There's a bunch of stuff that I need to do. I need to do some stuff to my truck. So the list goes on, but I've been really focusing on the charger. The other Magnum is just kind of like a quick project, but I want to do it right. So like I said before, I'm going to, undercoat the bottom of it to prevent, keep it from rusting. Eventually that car is going to be a giveaway car as well. So, I want it to be done right, and I want everything to actually go in well, work well, and be a car that, I or somebody, once I do a giveaway, whoever gets it can, drive across the country and not have an issue. So, and then I haven't been able to drive my Challenger because I wanted to get the wheel. So the driver's side wheel had a scuff on it or was it the passenger side wheel from the accident? And I never worried about the scuff, but I was thinking about selling the car. So I wanted to fix the wheel. So I took the wheel to a place to have it repaired, and I got the wheel back like 2 days ago. So I haven't been able to drive the car because I haven't had a wheel for it. I got the wheel back, and they like powder coated it like gloss black. And I was like, dude, it's a charcoal wheel. Like, they're like, well, we didn't have another one in reference. I was just like, you had the wheel. Like, when I gave you the wheel, it was the right color. So now I have to take them 2 wheels so they can match the 1 wheel. But at this point, I almost want to change the color of the wheels to like a goldish color or something like that, or maybe a bronze. But I'm not going to worry about that until I get back, because I'd have to take the wheels up there, and then they'd probably be, they'd want me to pick them up while I'm gone, and it's just, yeah. So hopefully that thing, I'll get the wheel back, or both wheels back for that thing, and I could put the tires back on there and actually be able to drive it again. And I haven't been able to drive that for like 2 months, 2.5 months, because the whole wheel situation. They had the wheel forever. Let's see. Hi, what's going on? I bought a flooded Geo Metro. Hold on, I bought a flooded Geo Metro. If that counts, just saying. A message was held for review. It won't even let me see the message. That's funny. Yeah, it won't even let me see what it is. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. Let's see. I can't wait to see the Shaggin' Wagon Hellcat Charger in person. Hope I can make. Oh, I hope you can make the Mo Party September 14th. What? September? Oh, I definitely September. I can. Here, let me see this. I can make September. I'll be at Mo Party in September. 100%. 100%. I'll talk to my guy Holly and get an invitation. I was supposed to go to LS Fest in Vegas. That's this next weekend, but the Grand Prix transmission is not happy. So I had a guy that was going to tow the car out there, And then I had more issues with the transmission. Now I need to replace the transmission altogether. Um, I thought I had it fixed, and just like went all totally downhill from there. So I'll probably just end up either maybe building a transmission, or maybe just finding like a low mileage Cadillac transmission to throw in it, so I don't have to worry about it. But yeah, I can't wait to have that thing done. But I was supposed to go to LS Fest with that, and mostly the charger happened, but also the transmission kind of wasn't really. I don't know what happened to it. I think the solenoids on the valve body are burnt out, or something, and then it just caused more issues. And then now I think the clutches are going out. So, yeah, it's one thing after another, I guess. Keep up the great work. It looks awesome. Thanks. I'll buy you some dinner, and you can hang out with our crew, big dog. Thanks. Where's it at? Where's Mo Party at? Hold on. I think you said where it was at. Where's Mo Party at? Yeah, I don't think you said. Where's Mo Party at? Isn't it in Tennessee? What's up from Ohio? What's going on? I almost was going to go up to Ohio to get some. There's like some Hellcat Charger seats and door panels up there, but I didn't end up doing that because I was planning on driving back from Alabama, and then the things went south with the BRZ, so I didn't end up driving. I ended up flying back. You should consider working on one of the 240s till you're done. Will get you more views. So really anything to do with 240 SXs or drifting or anything in the drifting community, you're not going to get any views. I don't know what it is, but anything to do with like to make 240Zs, fun. But drifting in 240s, 350Zs, unless you're a chick, you are not going to get any views. It's not worth it. That's not why I don't work on my 240s, but because I do want to get the LS 240 back up and running, or actually it's never ran, but get it running and go from there. But yeah, I don't know what it is with 240s, but nobody like watches them. I'm not sure what it is. The Grand Prix will be a good car once the transmission is fixed. Yeah, so the plans were because I have a Holley low ram intake or a mid ram or whatever it is. I have headers. I was going to throw a turbocharger on it. I have bigger injectors. I have coil packs, and I was going to turn it. I was probably going to do something like 500 horse, just so it was something safe, and I was going to take it to LS Fest. But I feel if I would have the Tesla drive unit, I feel like it'd be okay if I could leave it in overdrive and I had the Tesla drive unit to get me, up to speed. But since I don't have any of the controls for the Tesla drive unit, I never worried about putting it in the car yet. So once that stuff's in the car, it might not matter that shifts at all. I might have to leave it in overdrive, but since it's just all engine right now, it definitely needs a shift, because overdrive, it's just like bogged out until like forever. It just takes forever. If you had a turbo, it'd probably be even worse, because it'd be trying to spool the turbocharger. It'd just be like lag till like, I don't know. It doesn't start ripping until, I don't know, like 4,900 RPMs. So what's the most expensive collectible car you own now, and what's a dream collectible you would love to own? So I don't know what. I think my FD is the Durango Hellcat isn't done or anything, and the FD is apart, but I would say the FD is probably the most collectible thing that I have. other than like the 240Z, but the 240Z is like not even close to, the FD isn't that far off. I could throw the engine and transmission back in it, throw the Hall Tech on it, and I could probably get it running and driving in maybe a week or maybe 2 weeks. But, depending on where you're going with it, if, at the end result, the 240Z would probably be the most collectible thing I have if it was done. So, yeah, I don't know. It depends on how you look at it. Let's see. Hey Dave, like watching your videos. You should make a diesel engine swap on your Dodge Charger and prove Dodge engineers you're better than them. I think I've already proved to Dodge, if any of the engineers watch, that I probably should be designing their cars for them. I know a lot, I get a lot of hate because a lot of people always say that, you think you know it all and a bunch of stuff like that, but I never say that I know it all. I just, when I'm doing stuff, I'm just showing what's wrong with what they're currently doing. And I think it's really funny that, so I talked about the wiring for the Charger and the Durango, I would say at the beginning of the year, maybe a little bit before that. I can't remember when I started it. Maybe a little bit before that, because I started tearing down the Durango Hellcat harness on the tables. And I was talking about how much waste Dodge was doing, and that they're probably losing, 100 million or so a year just in excess wiring. So then the one thing I do know is Ford watches, somebody at Ford that's high up watches my videos. I know this because when I did my Ford truck rebuild, I had the Tame Impala song, and nobody in the country, I'd say there's a few people, but nobody in the country knew who Tame Impala was. So I had that as my outro song. And then Ford used Tame Impala in a commercial, and then they blew up in the United States. And that was, I would say, man, that was like 6 years ago, something like that. Whenever I did my truck rebuild, yeah, that maybe 5-6 years ago. So I already knew they watched my stuff, or somebody watches my stuff. So then I talk about the Dodge wiring and how there's so much excess and they'd be saving a bunch of money. Well, then Ford redesigns a bunch of their wiring harnesses, and then they save, I think they said they saved like $1 billion or something just in excess wiring. And then Tesla did it. So the only company that hasn't done it yet is Dodge. It's just like, why don't you do it? Like, you're wasting so much money on these harnesses that are, really hard to diagnose because the wiring just runs everywhere and it's just kind of redundant. But yeah, I mean, it's just funny because it's just one of those companies, I feel like, that they say that, you go into a meeting and they say, well, we've always done it this way, so we're going to continue to do it this way. Instead of, new people coming in and having good ideas. Like, I was talking to Chris when I was in Alabama, and we're talking about Elon Musk. And I was like, yeah, Elon Musk is probably a guy that, some guy working on the factory floor has a good idea and tells him, and then Elon will think about it. And if it's a good idea, he'll take that idea and use it. Instead of like some of these larger companies, like I would say Dodge is probably this way. If somebody on the factory floor was like, yeah, if we did this, we would probably save, $50 a unit. And they'd be like, oh, well, you don't know anything. You just work on the factory floor. You don't have a degree. And a lot of companies are like that. But yeah, I mean, it's just crazy that there's so much, so many better ways that you could do certain things. And not everybody knows everything. And sometimes you look at something for so long that you just kind of like get tunnel vision and you don't think about it. Like, somebody could walk in and be like, oh yeah, you should do it that way. And you're just like, man, I didn't think about that because I've been looking at the same car for 2 years. Or, we've been doing it that way for the last 10 to 20 years. But I think a lot of a lot of companies kind of get in that rut. Bowling Green, Kentucky. Kentucky. I wonder how far that is. Right down the road from Holly. Oh man, I wonder if Holly would let me store the charger inside their place. Well, because I don't. That's the one thing I don't want it to happen is it gets stolen or something. 10 minutes from the track. Nice. What made you consider doing something like this? So, like I've said previously, I was building the Scat Pack Magnum, and I started driving it. I wanted something updated. I wanted it to be a Hellcat, but then I had my Challenger. I didn't want it to be rear-wheel drive because the Challenger just wheel spins all the time. You're on the highway, you punch it, it spins the tires on the highway. So I wanted it to be all-wheel drive, but I did a bunch of research and found that the 5-speed transmission that comes in the police cars, that's all-wheel drive. It's really weak. It's a 5-speed, not an 8-speed. And then trying to get that to tune and get everything to hold up to 1,000+ horsepower wasn't going to work. So then I decided to use all the Trackhawk stuff, which has the 8HP95. And it's probably the best thing I decided to do, but it's probably also the worst thing I decided to do because it's taken so much longer to get the car done. I could have already been driving the car for a year and a half if I would have just swapped all the Hellcat stuff in it, not changed anything other than making it a wagon, and just literally bolted all the interior in, all the rear wheel drivetrain into it, and the internet wouldn't even have cared. They would have been like, oh, it's a wagon. It would have been done. It would have got a bunch of traction, and I wouldn't have been working on it for a whole nother year and a half. So it is what it is. I wanted all-wheel drive. I think that's a really big part of the project, but I think it would have been cool to also maybe start off rear-wheel drive and then go to the all-wheel drive. But I'm a little bit too far. I've changed the trans tunnel for the all-wheel drive system. I've made drive shafts, rear subframes. It's just gone way too far to turn back now. So it's all that stuff's done. Just really kind of real simple stuff to finish up. Let's see. Hey Dave, do something really crazy with a Ford vehicle. Would like to see it. I have been wanting to do a Continental for a very long time. Like a very long time. Like a suicide door Continental hardtop with the convertible mod. So you take out that center pillar in the door, and I've been really wanting to do something with the Continental, but I want to get the Charger done, main focus, get that thing done, and once it's done, I can just move forward from that. I'll probably still be doing Magnum stuff because so many people watch my channel because of Magnums. So a lot of people request, contact me and request to do a conversion, but nobody really has the money to do the conversion, so it never follows through. But I'm sure eventually somebody's going to have the money and want to do it. So it's not that expensive. I'm not exactly sure what the deal is, but then I get all these people that try to do it themselves, and then they're like, oh, well, I put everything in, it doesn't start, this doesn't work, and I have all these problems. So yeah, it's probably in the long run, it's easier to I'd say just pay me or pay somebody that knows what they're doing. But let's see, you play any video games? Are you a PlayStation or Xbox or PC kind of guy? I have an Xbox. I also, my new PC, I still haven't built it. I bought all those parts, like $5,000 worth of computer parts, and I haven't put it together yet. But I usually use my PC for SolidWorks. I used to play a lot of online PC games when I was in high school and stuff like that. So I haven't really, done much online. I play, some Grand Theft Auto or Forza, but I really don't have time. PlayStation, I used to play a lot of Maximum Tune and Wonga Midnight and racing games and stuff like that. Halo. I played a lot of Halo and Unreal Tournament in high school. But yeah, really haven't had the time. It's like one or the other. You could either, play video games, or you could do like automotive content. I don't know. You can't do both because it's just so much work. It wouldn't seem like it, but it takes a lot of time. I'd say streaming's probably the easiest thing you could do, but you have to stream for so long so people could like a live stream. We got 30 people in here. If I was a chick and a lot of people on Twitch don't like the chicks because they just sit in a hot tub and they've ruined Twitch. But if I was a chick on a live stream right now, I'd probably have like 12,000 people in here, but I'm not. So let's see. I know you said before you know people at Holly. Yeah, I have a guy at Holly. Actually, I have two guys that I know at Holly. So, but they've never like reached out for like Mopar stuff, which is weird. It's always LS stuff. It doesn't make sense, but I'm fine with it. It's just kind of strange. So, I think I could talk to him and have him get me into that. Let's see. You said Forza, best Forza, and were you any good? I haven't played it in a long time, but I was pretty good. I've never used like a racing sim. Actually, I used Adam's racing sim on a set of Corsa. But I've always used a controller on Forza. I've never actually used a racing sim, but I'd say I was pretty decent on it. Halo, I was pretty good at Halo, but now I'm probably awful. We used to have like LAN parties and stuff at the high school at my friend's house, and my other friend owned a computer store, and we played a lot of Halo, and Unreal Tournament. But yeah, I haven't played enough video games for so long. I'd probably be like, I'd probably figure it out pretty quick, but I'd be awful. And some of that's like, I don't know, you kind of have to play it a lot to be able to like be really good. Okay. I just thought of a new build. You can do a swap on an F450 diesel engine into a Dodge Ram. Would be crazy. Yeah, it would definitely run and drive better with the Ford transmission. Let's see. I was ranked 86 in the world drifting on Forza 4. I missed the good leaderboards. Let's see. Sparky That Works, there is one of the guys doing the Mopar stuff from the Bowling Green, Kentucky. Yeah, I've never heard of that guy. I deal with the guy Alex, and I can't remember what the other guy's name is. He works on like the EV side, but yeah, I guess there's only gonna be 30 something people in here, so let's bust this out. Okay. Right. So we're going to do this since I think this is all that's going to be in this. All right. Let me try this. Okay. Let's see. All right, I think this is going to work. So, like I said before, I was pretty busy. Let me clean this camera. It's like all... Okay. That's a little bit better. It's not too much better. Okay, so like I said before, since I was traveling a lot, I wasn't able to do Marches or April. So now we're at the end of April. They're just both going to be torque wrenches for the tool. And this is all on the Patreon. So anybody that's at the $5 tier or more will be entered into the tool giveaway. So what I think I'm going to do is, because there's a few people, not for these two because it wouldn't be fair, but for the coming up giveaways, I have a few people in the $10 tier. And I think it's only fair that if they're paying more, they can get more entries. So if you're in the $10 tier, you get 2 entries instead of one. That, $5, 1 entry, $10, 2 entry. And then there's, $20 and $50, etc. But next month, we'll do it that way. I'll figure out what tool I'm going to be giving away next month, and we'll just kind of go from there. So for March, we have 7 people right there, and I have each person numbered, and I have this random generator here, and I'm just going to hit, actually I could reload it so you guys, I like people not, being questioning that it's legit or it's not faked or anything. So we're going to do March. So number 2 for March, J Sifor. This guy right here is going to get the smaller torque wrench. I think it was like 8 to 50 foot-pounds or 80 foot-pounds or something like that. So for March, congratulations, you won the torque wrench. Now for April, we're going to do, I'm going to have to do 5 because there's only 5 people on April's. And we'll reload this again because, I don't know, it might do some weird stuff. So we got 5 people. Oh, 5 people right there. Generate 4. So Kobe LeBron gets the larger torque wrench, and I'll just message you guys on the Patreon so I can get your address and your information to get everything shipped out. So congratulations, both of these will be torque wrenches. One will be the smaller one will be the larger one. And next month, I'm going to be doing probably something very similar, but here, let me get this kind of set back in here. This is kind of a pain. Okay. Oh no. No, that's not what I want. There we go. All right, so next month, like I said, I'll figure out what tool it is before the end of the month. Like I said, I'm going to Tucson, so I'll do it, I'll be back before the end of the month. So I'll figure out what tool it's going to be, or if it will be a tool, it might be something else. And then, like I said, it's going to be, if you're in the $5 tier, 1 entry, $10, 2 entries. Every $5, there'll be more entries. So it'll just be a little bit fair because I saw that a few people were in the higher tiers. So I didn't want to, be like, well, you only get 1 entry because you're contributing more to helping, the channel out and stuff like that. So I think it's only fair. I mean, I think everybody that's on my Patreon would agree with that. But at this point, it's not paying for, I think that both torque wrenches were like 400 something bucks. So yeah, we're a long ways off, but if I just continue to do this and more people start to support the channel, I think it's a good way to give back to the people that watch the channel and, help me out on Patreon, and then kind of go from there. So let's see. What are you guys saying? Let's see. Oh man. Okay, what made you consider oh, I already answered it. Do something crazy with everyone got to hit the like button. Hell yeah. Why is it going? Oh, my hand's in front of the thing. Let's see. Oh, he helps out Boosted Motorsports on YouTube. When you worked at the Junkyard, what did you do? So I worked at the Junkyard. I pretty much did. So when I started there when I was a freshman in college. And then I I was just like pulling parts, but that really didn't last long. Then I started, helping them out in the office, but then I started like redoing their whole inventory system because they had like a really bad way of inventorying everything. And then everything, probably 75% of their product wasn't even inventoried. So people looking online couldn't find it. Um, so when I left, like I inventoried like two whole buildings of parts and pretty much organized a bunch of stuff, and I was doing all the logistics and stuff like that. So it was I don't know, it wasn't super difficult. I just did, a little bit here and there each day, and it turned out to be a bunch of stuff at the end. But yeah, I mean, it was just like a college job that you get, But I made, it was a family-owned business. I made, I guess, good friends with the family, and we've had a good relationship ever since. So it's turned out to be like a win-win throughout. I don't know, since, man, that's kind of a long time. When did I graduate? I think 2011. So I think, yeah, like probably since like 2007 or 8 or something, I've known him. That's kind of a long time. After you finish the Charger wagon and the Durango, it will be fun to see you swapping a classic like a 1990 BMW or BMW 3 Series with a Tesla motor and batteries. What do you think? Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Like I said, I don't know. I probably wouldn't do it to a BMW. If I did get a 3 Series, I'd probably get like a. I really wanted like a. Is it a 330 iX? I think it's a 330 iX. The older like M series all-wheel drive BMW. Like I think they're like 90. I think that'd be kind of a cool car to have. Kind of get one that's needs some stuff, put a turbocharger on it, do some stuff to it, maybe even put a different engine in it. But yeah, that'd be kind of a cool BMW. For like electric swaps, there's a few older cars I'd like to do, but I'm not 100% sure if I want to just go all electric. I've never really been a fan of 100% electric anything. I'm really a fan of hybrids. Hybrids are like where we're going to end up. So there's like gas engines. We'll always have only gas engines, only diesel engines. But I think the full electric stuff is just kind of going to disappear. And we're just going to have gas engines and hybrids again, because it's just not efficient enough, because you have to rely on batteries and the grid and all this, all these other factors that they're not really considering right now. And I think once the government subsidies stop, electric vehicles are just going to die. So, and all this solar stuff's going to die too. I mean, wind turbines have pretty much already started to die because I think the government subsidies on those stopped, and they're spending more money to dispose of the blades, and they're making, and it's just getting to the point that without government subsidies, none of this stuff is feasible. How do I join Patreon? So there's a link. I'm not sure if it's in the live stream descriptions, but in the videos, there's a link in the description, and it's really easy. So you just go on there, you select the tier you want to be in, and it just charges you each month for that tier. Oh, somebody said links in the description. Thanks. Let's see. I still get 100 for the first tank of gas. Don't see the Patreon. Can you share the link? So I just posted a Magnum video, I don't know, like 2 days ago. That's the most recent video. That's probably the easiest. I don't think I could share links on here. And it's just in the description of the video. So if you haven't seen the new Magnum video, or any of the new videos that I posted because it doesn't seem like people are seeing them. You could check it out because there's kind of some cool stuff. I mean, the trip from Florida was kind of fun, and the whole BRZ fiasco was interesting. Oh, I need to flip this back over. Let's see. Hello, Dave from the Isle of Man. Looking forward to seeing the Charger wagon running on the road. Also VR4. Yeah, the VR4. When I drove it over to the junkyard from the old shop, it's just so nice to drive that car. I just want it done so I can just cruise it every once in a while because it runs and drives great. There's some suspension stuff I want to do to it. I want to do some adjustable arms so because the camber in the rear is a little bit ridiculous. And maybe some bushings here and there. And a single turbocharger, some bigger injectors, and we'll probably blow up the tranny. But it's a fun car to drive. It's fun, it's reliable, which is crazy because it is a 3000 GT. That's all-wheel drive, and they're not known for reliability. I haven't driven it super far, but I would, if it was 100%, if all the body panels were on it, I would have no issue hopping in it and driving it to like Florida. I feel like it would easily drive there, have no issues, and be able to drive back with no issues. I mean, I'm not sure what the gas mileage would be, but I don't think it'd be too terrible because it's a V6 turbo car. So yeah, it has great oil pressure. I mean, everything that people say, and it has a really nice engine in it. It's a stock engine, but it's all refreshed. The turbochargers are newer, and had a new timing belt and everything done. And water pump, like, I don't know, that was like 5 years ago now. So probably needs to be done again because it's been sitting, but it runs great. I mean, I really enjoy the car. I just wish it was all painted up. And I want to paint the stuff. It's just that the Charger's in the shop. Once the Charger's out of the shop, it'll be so much easier to be able to do stuff and be able to paint and not have to worry about the Charger being in the shop because that's a really big thing. The same thing with Cerakoting. If I had like a paint booth, it'd be really nice because I wouldn't have to worry about it. But I just don't want to get overspray all over everything. So, when I'm Cerakoting, I can't Cerakote because the Charger's in the shop. So I have to wait till it's like a calm day outside and it's not cold, it's not super hot. And then I could Cerakote stuff because I have a lot of stuff that I need to do. I need to do the exhaust manifolds for for the Charger. So, yeah. And I have a few other things that I need to do for the Charger as well in Cerakote and a few other projects. That whole Trackhawk block I need to do. I have the Cerakote for that, the pistons, the rods. I need to take the crankshaft and have a keyway added so I can put the ATI damper on that. And the list goes on and on. So hopefully I can get the Charger done so I can do more stuff and get more stuff painted, like the Durango engine bay and the interior on the Durango. Where do I find a 2005 Chrysler 300Z engine wiring harness? I would check eBay. Somebody text me. I love working at a junkyard, being around cars, being the junkers, finding out major flaws in cars. Worst thing about it is people think you can get cars for free and being cheap. Yeah, I think the biggest thing I would recommend for like any engineer is to, like, whatever product you're working on, to get something that has been thoroughly used and then to take it apart and to see how it performed. Because test cells, knowing from experience, I mean, I've ran some engines really hard in test cells, but it's not the same. So the one thing is, like, when we would send stuff to the military and then they would just be like, they would just beat the living shit out of everything. They'd be using like pipe wrenches on like mil spec connectors to like tighten them down when they're just like you just turn them with your hand and like they auto, like they self-lock. Like you just like go like this and they just click. They were using like pipe wrenches on them and like, oh, then we can't get them apart. These are like, then they bend them and they won't come apart. Uh, and they just did like a bunch of crazy stuff. So yeah, I think that's the biggest thing companies need to do with their engineers is just be like, yeah, like especially automotive companies, go to like send your engineers to junkyard, or buy a car from the junkyard, and then by that time you really don't care as an automotive manufacturer. But especially for like engine analysis, it's like you don't know what they did to it, but you don't know what oil they use. You don't know if they, ran out of coolant or what happened, but you can see a lot of different things and you send oil in for analysis. And I feel like it would make a lot better companies if they did this instead of just, you know, first to market mentality is what most companies have. So they just worry about failures after the fact. And if they have recalls and stuff like that, it really doesn't matter because they were first to market with it. So Dave, swap a Bronco engine with a diesel engine from either Dodge or Ford. That'd be kind of cool. 330iX is the car I learned to drive on. They're pretty cool cars. I like the M's have like the stock flares and stuff on them. They look super cool. They're like a semi wide body car. They just look really good. They look aggressive. They're all wheel drive. They're already inline six. They already are manual. I mean, they're just cool. And they came, like, some of them came two-door, which was really cool, which I don't know. It's just, I don't like very many BMWs, but that'd be one of the BMWs I like. So my son is very interested in a red-eye Hellcat. Do you think that would be a good idea for a 17-year-old? I mean, if you teach him how to drive it, that's fine. But I would, my parents, when I first started driving, they didn't buy my first car. I bought my first car. I think it was like, I think it was like $300 or $500. It was a Suzuki Swift. And it was like the biggest piece of shit ever. But it was like a $300 car. I think it was like $300. But it was a $300 car. It ran, it drove. It was a 3-cylinder. I think it made like 75 horsepower. But you don't have to worry about it. I mean, you don't buy an $80,000 car for a 17-year-old and then, they wreck it and then it costs you like $20,000 to fix. And then their insurance gets all crazy because then the insurance company is like, oh, well, you wrecked this car. And then it'll keep going up. I mean, if you have the money for it, go ahead. I mean, it is what it is. But I think it'd be better to start them off on something that's can, kind of get them used to it. Maybe something that's rear wheel drive and kind of go from there. Something that's low horsepower. I think the best thing people could do is like start their kids off on something that's lower horsepower and then just kind of gradually increase it instead of just going like, oh yeah, you had a Suzuki Swift that had 70 horsepower that's front wheel drive. Here's a almost 800 horsepower rear wheel drive car. Or if you do buy the car, I know some states, they have like a advanced driving school where they like spray water down and you'll have an instructor. It's almost like, I think NASA instructors oversee it, but they'll really teach them how to like actually control the car. Because the one thing about rear wheel drive cars, especially high horsepower ones, especially the Hellcats, is the Hellcats have a weird front suspension setup with the lower control arms. So they're really snappy. So once you get sideways and you try to, once you flick it in transition and then you want to straighten back out, it always wants to like snap back for some reason. And I think it has something to do with the dual lower control arm in the front. So that's something to like, be wary of, because if you don't know that's there, then you spin out, you spin it into a curb, and then you're on the internet for wrecking into like a crowd of people at a car show. So I would recommend probably, if you get it, advanced driving school, and always keep decent tires on it. The tires that come stock on the the Hellcats, they're like a 500 tread wear, which is way too hard of a tire for a car with that power that's rear wheel drive. I get something at the highest, like 300 tread wear, like 330 tread wear, 300 tread wear. They'll wear out a lot faster, but you'll always have that, extra bit of bite. You won't have to worry about them just always spinning, especially on the highway, trying to pass people. If you if you punch it in a Hellcat, especially a red eye on the highway, it's going to spin the tires. And the other thing is on the cars is traction control is your worst enemy on Hellcats. The issue with traction control is it's a system that is meant for people that are inexperienced with driving. And what it does is it starts to hit, track control works with the ABS system and it starts to lock up calipers to keep you straight. But if you're already sideways and you're trying to power out of it and it starts doing that, then that whole suspension setup that I was talking about in the front, it's going to want to snap you back. You'll spin out and wreck the car. It's, traction control is the worst thing. ABS to me, traction control is like the most worthless thing that car companies ever did. It like made people not know how to drive cars, and it's just scary. So I'm sure you don't want that big of a of a thing, but is there a Magnum video coming this week? There's 2 Magnum videos last week. Did you see those? Let's see. So I doubt there's going to be a Magnum video this week because I'm not going to be in town. Let's see. What happened if you took a F450 turbo and put it on a Honda Civic? Would that work? You'd have to be able to control the VGT on the turbocharger. Hey Dave, would you consider working for Dodge as an engineer? It depends. I mean, if I was offered a job, it would have to be, it'd have to be the right situation and it'd have to be the right amount of money, because if you're going to work for Dodge as an engineer, most likely you're going to have to live in Michigan, which isn't a deal breaker, but because if I, when I work for a company as an engineer, I don't want to work from home. Working from home is cool, but being able to go down to the factory, being able to go to the test cells, being able to see and be able to fix stuff, if you need to fix something that day, if you're working from home, it's not going to happen. So it just have to be the right situation. Plus I have so much stuff here that it would have to be the right amount of money as well. But I doubt that's ever going to happen because I feel that Dodge hates me. So, okay, I'm joined now. Awesome. Thanks a lot. Yeah, next month I have to figure out what I'm going to do as a giveaway. Because I don't want to do another torque wrench giveaway. Because I already did 2. I wasn't planning on doing 2 torque wrench giveaways, but it's I didn't want to, people already are in the giveaway tier. I don't want to just be like, well, I've been busy and I couldn't do the giveaway last month, so I'm just going to not do one at all. So we're here. So we'll just keep going forward. Thanks, man. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. Thanks a lot. Government's being bullheaded about electric vehicles. Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, there's just so many things, and I think everybody knows my point of view on the subject. Forget the video games. You are a car guy. I don't know. Video games, they're nice to be able to. I have to, every once in a while, I have to play Grand Theft Auto. I mean, I have to do some shady stuff on Grand Theft Auto because it's a good way to just kind of relax. Let's see. Is there anything different you do differently in the Magnum build? Yeah, there's quite a few things that, I mean, not quite a few things, but there's a few things that I would change if I did a second iteration of the vehicle. So how I did the, how I used the Magnum rear glass or the rear quarter glass, um, even the rear hatch glass. I kind of want the rear hatch to be different, but I didn't want to have to design glass and all this stuff from scratch because it would have been a nightmare. So if I was a manufacturer, I would have done it totally different, but it still looks good from the point of view of like being able to get something done and not have to really reinvent the wheel. I think I did a pretty good job. But yeah, for the sake of the hatch glass and the quarter glasses, I think they'd be a lot nicer if they were different shapes, kind of followed the body lines a little bit better. They still do, but I just feel like a newer vehicle would have a little bit more updated glasses. So kind of like the front, but plus the rear door glass. I wish I would have been able to just use the full glass from the original Magnum, but since I was using the Charger door, like I said in the one of the videos, the glass doesn't fit, and I couldn't even use a door frame. The regulators are different, so in that aspect, it'd be really nice to not have that extra little quarter window or quarter glass in the rear door because it doesn't really, it works, but there's no reason to have it there. It just doesn't even make sense in a Charger. So, or the 300s, it doesn't really make sense that it's there. They should have just made it a full piece of glass. Let's see. Yo, Dave, hope all is well. Thanks. Let's see. I can't turn on the heat in my Chevy Cruze. Do you know why it's constantly on and won't let me choose a temp? It's probably your blower motor resistor is bad. Give away an insulated tumbler from your Rampage logo, etc. Oh, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. That's a pretty good idea. Yeah, I have all this merch that nobody buys, and I think it's all good stuff. So, once the car's done, I think it'll do a little bit better. But yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe next month's giveaway will be one of those tumblers because I think they're pretty cool. I almost thought, I want to order some of the newer shirts that I designed, the Junkyard engineering stuff, to wear, and yeah, maybe I could order like a tumbler. That'd be kind of cool. Let's see. When you finish the Magnum build, will you take it to Dodge dealer or just car shows? So I'm going to take it a bunch of places. I have to take it to the dealership because I'm going to have a line there. Plus, the guy I know there will let me use the tools, so I can actually try to adjust some of these modules to kind of be nice to each other. I'm not even sure if they're going to have an issue, but if they do, it'd be nice to. So yes, it's going to go to the dealership. It's going to go to the track. It's going to go, not a bunch of car shows, but I'll probably take it here and there, just to maybe like Cars and Coffee and stuff like that. It doesn't need to be like a huge car show or anything because it's not really built to be a show car. It's built to be something that I want to daily drive. I wanted it to be nice, but I also wanted to be able to take it to the drag strip and the road course and something, driving on the street and not be a show car, but I wanted it to be nice. So it would, if I did take it to like a Cars and Coffee, people would be like, oh, look at that piece of shit. They'd be like, oh, well, that's kind of cool. So, let's see, do that instead of the expensive wrenches. Yeah, I mean, eventually, I know some people on Patreon, other YouTubers. I think Tommy on Patreon was making like, I think he was making like $7,000 or $10,000 a month off of Patreon. So, if I ever got to that point, I wouldn't mind doing like giveaways where it would be like, like kind of like I think Holly did like that engine giveaway. Man, if I was making like $10,000 a month on Patreon, I'd just be like, yeah, this month's giveaway is something ridiculous. That's stupid. So, but I'm not at that point. I think I'm actually making nothing because it's like $40, and the torque wrenches were, I think both of them were like four something. So maybe eventually I'll get there, but it's not just something to do. Let's see. I love the white one. Thanks. So it's been an hour. I think I'm going to end the live stream here. And thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. The winners, I will message you on Patreon. If you're interested in signing up to Patreon so you could get entered into the giveaways, it's in the description of each video. And you just click on the link, and then you could just sign up to whatever tier. Any tier over $5, $5 and up, will get you entered into each monthly giveaway. And I kind of decide at the beginning of the month what the giveaway is going to be, unless I'm traveling a bunch, and then there'll always be a giveaway. So don't think you're signed up and you're not going to get anything if I didn't do it at the end of that month because I was traveling. So thanks for tuning in, and see you guys probably in some videos this week at Sarah's.